So, Year 10, this is just for you. And I've chosen something that you can use for your ratio practice, Cameron. So what I've made, I'm kind of halfway through making, is loaded potato skins that I'm sure you've had in lots of places. And I thought it's something that's quite easy for you all to make. Help your mum out. So what I've got here, I've already just baked 8 potatoes. I went to the shop and I tried to get 8 potatoes roughly the same size, because obviously they need to cook at the same time. So 8 potatoes, that's probably enough for a family of 4, I think. Depends how much you eat, Cameron and Josh. So at the moment, all I'm doing is emptying. Zoom in, John. John is my cameraman. I'm just emptying the potato out at the moment. You need to be really careful about this because you don't want to split the skin. So it's a little bit tricky, and I leave a little tiny bit of potato at the edge just for a little bit of support, because you're going to mix it all up and put it back in. So before you start, obviously you're going to use the oven and you're going to bake your potatoes. You're going to talk to your mum about how many she needs to do. Are you just going to do it for tonight's meal? Or they freeze really well, so we can make all of these and get to the point before we put them back in the oven, and you can freeze them. So they're a nice thing for us, particularly at the moment, for us to have in the freezer. So what I've done then, so I'm kind of all ready to talk to you, I have just fried up with a little tiny bit of oil, a packet of bacon, just a packet that big, which you can go and buy in the supermarket. Now obviously if you've got veggies, you don't need to put this bacon in. You can put in whatever you want. It's a really, really lovely, flexible kind of a recipe. So you could leave that out and you could put things in like sweet corn or peas. They would work, little tiny amounts. So this is all my potato that I've taken out of my skins, and I'm going to just mix in, because we like bacon, so the whole packet's going in. Just mix it around. And then here I have chopped up, and again it's personal preference. You might not want the onions, you might want less, you might want more, you might want them really a little bit finer. That's fine for me the way I've got it. I'm putting those in as well. A little bit of salt, and we're going to have pepper. Put it the right way up. And I'm going to add some chili flakes, but obviously if you're going to feed this to a 3-year-old, you don't want chili flakes in it, but we quite like chili flakes. And also it gives, I'm going to put some on top, it gives a nice colour. I've then bought a pot of sour cream, which you just need to go to the supermarket and buy, and I'm going to put all of that in. But I think you could probably use ordinary yogurt would work. It's just giving you some extra kind of flavours and substance inside your mixture. And then you're just going to mix it all up. So all my Year 10 lovely, lovely students, you're going to have to work out from my recipe. I've written down the bare bones of it. You're going to have to work out what you put in. You'll have to half it, or you'll have to double it. And you could half it and add that half onto what you've got, so that you can have more than you've got, because obviously you have to keep the ratios. Otherwise you could end up with just something that's a bit tasteless if you don't get it right, if you don't get all the different flavours right. I mean, at this stage, everything's fine to eat. I'm not a great one on testing, but you could have a little bit of a taste and see if you like the taste of it, if you want to put anything else in. So now, this is my cheese that my slave has grated for me, because I hate grating cheese. So I'm going to put most of that inside with my mixture. If you don't like cheese, don't put it in. If you just want a little bit of cheese, we like cheese in this house. So, you know, there is flexibility in terms of your personal taste. If your family are not big cheese eaters, just put a little bit in. I think you probably need a little bit for flavour. I've just used ordinary cheddar, but you could use things like feta would work, grated halloumi would work, any cheese would work really, and it's, I think probably cream cheese might work as well. Lots of experimenting really. And that's it. I haven't mentioned the onions I used. I've just gone out and bought ordinary spring onions, washed them, and then because I had so many, I had a whole bunch, I chopped about here and then just chopped up finely. And then we're ready to go. Just load them back in. Get yourself a spoon. This is a bit of a fiddly, long-winded job because you have to be quite careful, you don't want it everywhere. And you have to, as you're doing it, obviously you want to press down and you want to fill the skin because you don't want, you know, if you're going to have this for your dinner or for your lunch, you don't want to be eating a potato and actually it's just an empty skin. So you have to try and gently squash down. And obviously you're going to have loads more mixture because you've added all sorts of things to it. So you will have too much. Can I get that squashed in there? What fun, a little bit of maths. Sit down before you start, work things out, get bits of paper, preferably no calculators because I think you should be able to do all this dividing in your head. Grace. And have a go, take some pictures along the way and send the pictures to me on, you know, the usual email address where all the staff are the same, lwarren@stjohnschool.com. Message me anytime you want. I'm around all the time, so if you want to message me and say I'm about to start, I'm going to have a go. My mum's got all the stuff. You could get all the stuff even. Josh and Brad and Siobhan, you could get out there and you could actually do the shopping as long as it's okay with mum. But if you want to have a go and you want to message me and say I'm about to start, then if you get stuck on anything, I can answer your questions. Just be careful with the bacon because the little bit of fat in the pan, mine's just spat all over me and made a really nice mess of the oven, but that's all right because my slave will clean my oven. So I think that's it really. I just need to keep going on these potatoes, trying to squash in as much as I can. Then I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of cheese on top and I'm going to sprinkle some chili powder on top because we like it. You could just sprinkle some pepper, some cayenne pepper. What else could they put on top that's not too strong? Paprika, that's a good idea. Maybe curry powder. It's all, you know, all these things are kind of personal things. It depends what you and your family like and who you're feeding. So these are really nice if you're going to go, because we're all socially isolating now and we can't, you know, we can't go very far, we can't do very much. But you could, the weather's nice, so you could use this to start off your picnic. That even if you're only going to have the picnic in the garden, or you can just have them for snacks in the afternoon when everybody's really hungry and you know, before dinner's ready. So, a bit of a squash going on here. Ooh. Actually, there's not so much left because I've been squashing and squashing. Squash as much in as you can. Oops. They all look pretty. I think I've pretty much got in as much as I can. So I think I'll sprinkle over the end of my cheese. Try and get it on the potato as opposed to all over the surface and like I'm doing. I think maybe this bit might have been better with really, really fine cheese. You might have had a little bit more control over it. Ooh, missed these. And then I'm just going to sprinkle chili flakes. These are actually, which I'm a bit addicted to and I have on everything. But also this makes it look quite pretty and edible and appetizing. And that's it. We're done. So now they go back in the oven. At this point, you can freeze them or you can cook them. Okay, so I'm going to cook them now for 20 minutes. Keep an eye on them, make sure that they are okay, and then they're ready to eat. Enjoy!